Hey everyone! Welcome to another episode of Renton Reflects. With the advent of television, the internet, and other forms of visual media, it may not always be easy to encourage kids to read more books. At least one movie attempted to do that. This movie in particular. The plot involves a boy named Richard Tyler who's a bit of a worrywart because he mainly follows statistics. While he's out running an errand for his father, he gets caught in a storm and ends up at a library. Through certain circumstances, at least through his imagination, he gets transported from the real world to an animated one, where he literally becomes a part of the living illustration. A wizard-like character known as the Pagemaster tells Richard that he must go on a journey and pass a few tests of courage involving adventure, fantasy, and horror in order to make it to the exit and return home. Along the way, Richard comes across 3 anthropomorphic books, respectively named Adventure, Fantasy, and Horror, and they traverse through different literary worlds, including Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Moby Dick, and Treasure Island. It is on this journey that Richard must try to face his personal fears, or else he might never be able to make it home. Looking back on this movie, the idea of traversing between different literary worlds, as well as interacting with literary characters, is actually not a bad one. In fact, it was handled nicely enough in this movie. In addition to having a sweeping musical score, an entertaining cast, and some very decent animation. While it did also try to be full of enchantment and wonder, the real problem with this movie is that the characters were not given a whole lot in terms of development. Not even the featured literary characters were given enough screen time to allow the audience to truly understand who they are and why they are considered classic. It's as if they were practically glossed over in terms of their own character arcs. I can't help but wonder if the writing in this movie was a bit rushed, to the point that kids might lose interest in reading books rather than gain it. So here's my advice to all potential writers out there. If you want to encourage kids to read more books as a way to stretch their imaginations, that's great. But if you intend on using classic literary characters in your story, regardless of what form of visual media is used, they need to be given enough depth and personality so that kids would become the least bit interested in wanting to check out the books that they come from. That's a lesson the writers of this movie should have taken. I would even say they should have taken the time to hit the books on how to write a stronger and more effective screenplay. If I were to give this film a rating on a scale between 1 and 10, I'd give it a 6. It's mostly decent. I just wish it could have been fleshed out better. Thus concludes my review. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.